So today I want to talk about an individual, the work of an individual, a very famous copywriter and advertiser, a very powerful marketer in general. So back in his days, he was considered one of the most influential, richest, and most effective of marketers in his time. So this famous man, popularly known as David Ogilvy, once said something I find to be very important, something I find to be by far one of the most basic but insanely important principles of marketing, sales, advertising, whenever it involves getting somebody to actually pull out their hard-earned money and buy from you. So in this principle, he illustrated as follows. Customers still buy products whose advertising promises them 1. Value for money, 2. Beauty, 3. Nutrition, 4. Relief from suffering, 5. Social status, etc. Now, I'll take all of these things one after the other to actually explain them and actually give you a better context, right? But before we do that, it's really important that we understand something, right? Most people think that basically when you build up a business, right, you're very good at what you do. You're insane. In fact, if you were to rank yourself, which wouldn't be fair, right? But if you were to rank yourself, you would consider yourself by far one of the most qualified professionals in the field, right? But if we've learned anything over the years, we would find out that it's not necessarily the most qualified person or individual or group of professionals, right, that make the most income, that generate the most revenue, that make the most money, right? It's not necessarily the individual with the best of product, with the best of service that generates the most revenue for their business, that acquires the most customers. No. It is he or she or the organization or the company that knows how to market themselves the best. Now, that does not mean that you get to have a crappy product or your service sucks, or basically the thing that you offer in exchange for money, right, is substandard or anything, and then you expect that throwing all you can on marketing on it and hiring the best set of persons to market the hell out of it for you will actually get you those customers. You may not be far from the truth, right? Chances are it would get you the customers that you want. It may get you an influx of customers, right? But the problem with that is that you wouldn't be able to sustain those customers because they would end up being pissed off, frustrated, and end up leaving your business because what you're offering sucks, right? But now that we've actually gotten that out of the table, right, out there, let's actually look deep into these principles, which I believe that even though you're not good at marketing, even though you're not good at sales, even though you're not good at advertising, even though you're not good at anything that has to do with acquiring customers, right, getting customers to actually come in, do business with you and give you their money, even though you suck at this, the primary understanding of this principle, right, I believe has the potential to blow your business disproportionately off the charts. But now that we've actually gotten that out of the way, let's actually review these things one after the other. So number 1, value for money. Let's reiterate, right? So it says customers still buy products whose advertising promises them 1, value for money. Now, on the topic of value for money, think about it this way. You see this most often in things like, say for instance, you have a service-based business. We're talking about offering a kind of business, right, where somebody hires you to perform a service for them, not necessarily a physical product, right, that they can make use of, consume or something like that, right? It's basically you serving them in one way or the other. I'm talking about cleaning services, I'm talking about baking services, I'm talking about real estate services, I'm talking about advertising services, virtually any kind of service-based business, right? We're also talking about software companies. You see this with people who offer software as a service, right? Popularly known as SaaS business, right? It goes from those kind of business all the way to the construction industry. Now, number 2 is beauty, right? So to bring it into context, customers still buy products whose advertisement promises them beauty. Now, you see this in the cosmetic industry, right? You see this in the soap industry when you're talking about skincare, right? Just imagine for a second if soap industries actually advertise or position their product in such a way that the only thing it offers you is keeping your body clean. Creams and makeup and all that kind of stuff, right? All these things, they don't promote the primary thing that they actually do. For instance, soap, which is actually keeping your body clean. No, they actually promote things like skincare, right? Making your skin more smooth and all that kind of stuff. You also see this in things like cologne, right? When people market things like cologne, they don't market it and then say, hey, come and buy this thing, it will make you smell good and all that kind of stuff. No, you see that most times when people market or promote colognes, talking about things like improvement of sex appeal, etc. Right? Now, number 3 is nutrition. To bring that into context, right? Customers still buy products whose advertising promises them nutrition. Now, you see this very often, most often times in the weight loss and fitness industry, right? So, selling people on the idea of things like staying healthy, right? Eating the right kinds of foods for the purpose of staying healthy and eating the right kinds of food wouldn't really resonate with people, right? But selling people on the idea or concept that the nutrition, right, be it a supplement, the idea simply, right, and you see this very often when people promote these kinds of products, basically their promise to their customers, right, which will make their customers be able to exchange their hard-earned money for these products and services, is because it has been positioned in such a way that it will help them look more attractive, right? Look more attractive, boost their confidence, etc. Now, 4th, relief from suffering. Now, to bring that also into context, right? Customers still buy products whose advertising promises them relief from suffering, right? So you see this mostly in the medical practice, right? Here's the thing: people will give anything for a cure, right? Say for a cure of a particular ailment, a cure of a particular disease, a cure of a particular infection, a cure of something that makes them feel very much uncomfortable or puts their health in peril. But not necessarily for protection. You will have to be a really good sales person, right? Using a very sophisticated sales technique to be able to sell somebody on something that has the potential to protect them, right? It's not impossible, it's just more difficult. People have a natural tendency to react more, to respond more if they're going for a cure rather than a protection, right? And then you also see this in things like accounting and financial management, right? To say, for instance, you own a business, right? And then you find that you get so busy running your day-to-day activity that at the climax of everything, you find out that you are literally bleeding money, right? Your business is bleeding money. You're not getting the kind of income that you want. Something in your business just doesn't make any sense, right? Economically. Now, in such scenario, what happens, right? You then find the business owner to be in a position where the only person, by far the only person who can relieve them of such suffering and pain and agony is an accountant, right? And then lastly, the 5th one is social status, right? Customers still buy products whose advertising promises them social status. Now, this is actually one of those things that actually sells the most, right? So we're talking about things like cars. We're talking about things like luxury wares. So you tend to observe this, right, when you see people promote things like cars, right, and how also people's buying behavior in these two realms, right? We're talking about the car industry, the luxury wares industry, right? So take this for instance, right? You see, you have Rolls Royce, right, and you have a Hyundai, right? So now, given say for instance that you were to do proper research, right, and then you found a particular Rolls Royce that is worth probably right around $500,000, right, and then you find a Hyundai of the exact same specifications as that Rolls Royce, right? The mileage on the thing is the same thing, the same kind of engine, same torque, everything, right? The specifications are basically the exact same thing, right? But the Rolls Royce is worth around $500,000, and the Hyundai is just a little over 90,000, right? Or maybe let's just approximate it to about $100,000, right? Now you will still see an individual, right, actually forfeiting the Hyundai and going for the Rolls Royce, right? You see the same thing in things like shoes, right, clothing, wristwatches. Who even uses wristwatches these days? I mean, like you have your face in your phone basically 80% of your entire day. So checking your time through your phone is basically one of the easiest things you can ever do. You can literally you don't even need to put down your notifications. You can just literally look at the screen of your phone and figure out the time. So basically it rules out the necessity of actually owning a wristwatch, right? But you still see people spend enormous amount of money in buying things like a Rolex, right? So you also see these things in things like in scenarios where you have popular brands for handbags, right, shoes, clothes, etc. Now, what's my point here? My point is that when it comes to this particular social status as a factor, right, is that people will more than likely give you a huge portion of their hard-earned money, right, if your product is positioned not only as a practical thing, right, but something that helps them increase their social status. So to reiterate everything and to actually make sure that you understand the concept of all of these things, let me go again. David Ogilvy illustrated this very important and vital principle. Customers still buy products whose advertising promises them 1, good value for money, 2, beauty, 3, nutrition, 4, relief from suffering, 5, social status. Now, quite frankly, this is not the only thing, right, that people respond to. But I believe you don't even need to be a world-class salesperson or an advertiser or a customer acquisition expert. These principles, if properly applied, will get you the kind of results in your business that you've never seen before. I hope this has brought you an immense value. And as always, remember, 1 is actually getting the information, and then secondly is implementation. So the idea is very simple. Always have it at the back of your mind that no matter what product you're selling, no matter what service you're selling, whatever it is you're selling, understand this: customers will buy your products, right, if you promise them through your promotions, through your advertisement, through everything that you do, through basically you asking them to buy. If you can position your product in such a way that 1, it gives them good value for money, 2, it increases their beauty, 3, it enhances and improves their nutrition, 4, it gives them a relief from some kind of a suffering, 5, it gives them an immense upgrade to their social status.